Hello and welcome to Chapter 3, Individual Test Solutions, with me, your host, Mr. Goldman. And first period, who will be very quiet. You're not going to even know they're here. Number 1, the diagram at right represents an acrobat sequence on a tightrope, where X represents the distance in feet the acrobat covers with each leap. How long is each leap? How do you know? Write expressions to represent the two sequences across the tightrope. Well, the top equals the bottom because they're the same length. Ooh. The top is x plus x plus x plus 2, which equals 2 plus x plus 8. This was worth a point. All right? That's my expression, and I even wrote an equation. At this point, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can just start plugging in numbers, or you can see that I have an x on both sides. I can get rid of that, and a 2 on both sides. I can get rid of that, and I'm left with x plus x equals 8, and I know that all x's are the same, so x must equal 4. Right? And I can verify that by plugging it in. 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 12, plus 2 is 14, 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 8 is also 14. So both sides equal 14. That's how I know it's true. Good. As a challenge, Zevel told his friend Ryan that he wanted to see if he could rewrite 3/7 as a decimal without using his calculator. The next day, Ryan said, "So how did it go, Zevel? Did you rewrite 3/7 as a decimal?" "Nah," he replied. "Didn't work," he added. "What do you mean it didn't work?" she asked. "I tried dividing the decimal and never terminated, never repeated. I guess it just can't be written any nice decimal way." Help them out. Did Zevel make a mistake? Yes. Zevel made a mistake. Sad face. All right. Explain your response. Why? Well, not every. There are some fractions that cannot be rewritten, or some numbers that cannot be rewritten, like pi, but this one can. And I have 3/7. This means 3 divided by 7, right? Which is 3 in the house, 7 outside of the house. All right. 7 goes into 3 0 times. 7 goes into 30 4 times. 4 times 7 is 28, with a remainder of 2. Bring the 0 down, I have 20. 7 goes into 20 twice. 2 times 7 is 14. My remainder is 6. Bring this 0 down, and I have 60. 7 goes into 68 times. 8 times 7 is 56. My remainder is 4. Bring down this 0, and I have 40. 7 goes into 45 times. 5 times 7 is 35. My remainder is 5. Bring this 0 down, and I have 50. 7 goes into 57 times. 7 times 7 is 49. My remainder is 1. I bring down this 0. I have 10. Now, at this point, you might be going, "Oh my God, it doesn't repeat. It's going on and on forever." I think this is probably where where Zevel quit. But 7 goes into 10 once. 1 times 7 is 7. My remainder, another 0 up there, is 3. And I bring this 0 down, and I have 30. But since I have 30, I'm trying to figure out how many times 7 goes into 30. I already did that here. So that means all of this repeats. So 3/7 equals 0.428571. All of this repeating. Okay? Not just the one is repeating, but all of it is repeating. I go back to where I last saw 30, and all of that repeats. Yeah. We're back. Why does -6 minus -2 equal -4? Be clear and complete. Well, okay. I'm going to start with -6. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 negatives. And this says remove -2. So start with -6 and remove 2 negatives. All right, so I'm going to take two negatives and I'm going to remove them. And this is -4. That's what you needed to do for that, right? I have a tile diagram and I'm explaining it with words. Start with -6 and remove two negatives. -3 times -2. Why does this equal +6? Be clear and complete. Well, this is remove 3 groups of -2. Remove 3 groups of -2. Well, I can't start with anything, so I need to start with 3 groups of 2 zero pairs. That's 1 group of 2, 2 groups of 2, 3 groups of 2 zero pairs. I'm going to remove 3 groups of -2. That's 1 group gone, 2 groups gone, 3 groups gone, and my answer is +6. There you go. Yeah, right is Jasmine's work where she was multiplying 2 decimal numbers. Did she do the problem correctly? That's a question. You got to answer that question. If so, how do you know? If not, what did she do incorrectly? Be clear and complete. Be clear and complete. If you're going to say she did the problem wrong, tell me the right answer, right? So she did 6.12 or 6 and 12 hundredths times 4 tenths or 0.4, and she got 24.8. Well, let's try this problem on our own. 6.12 times 0.4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 6 is 24. I don't have to worry about the 0. I have 1, 2, 3 numbers to the right of the decimal. That means I'm going to put 1, 2, 3 numbers to the right of the decimal. So 6.12 times 0.4 equals 2.448. She made a mistake. Let's see. You need to count the numbers to the right of the decimal, and then move the decimal that many spaces in your answer. Again, a 2-point question. 1 for the explanation, 1 for getting the right answer. What is 9/8 written as a percent? First thing I'm going to think of this is 9/8 is bigger than 1, so it's going to be bigger than 100%. So if somehow I mixed up the division and I got 88%, I know that's wrong because this has to be greater than 100%. This is 9 divided by 8. 8 goes into 9 once with a remainder of 1. Bring the 0 down. Put the decimal place there. 8 goes into 10 once. 8. Remainder of 2. Bring the 2 down. 8 goes into 20 twice. 16. Remainder of 4. Bring the 0 down. 8 goes into 40 5 times. 8 times 5 is 40, so there's no remainder. So 9/8 equals 1.125 as a decimal, which equals 112.5%. For whatever reason, a lot of people just did 125%. I think they got confused with this. So just make sure you're just moving that decimal place over twice. Number 7, compute each of the following. 3 and 2/7 times 5. Well, the first thing I'm going to do with the mixed number is convert it to a improper fraction. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 2 is 23/7 times 5/1. This is 115/7. I'm just going to leave it right there. B, 5/8 of 12. 5/8 of means multiplication, which is 60/8. I can simplify this to, what is that, 30/4. which is also 15 over 2, or 7.5. Any of these work for me. All right, C, we're all experts on this problem now. I'm going to circle my terms. This whole thing is one term, and that's the other term. But within this, I have to do this first and then this. So I have 8 plus negative 4 is positive 4. 3 minus 2 is negative 5. Minus 3 times 5 is 15. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. Minus 15 is negative 35. For D, 6.2 divided by 3/4. I'm going to make both of these fractions. So instead of 6.2, I have 62 over 10 divided by 3/4. I was okay if you guys just didn't show me explicitly how to flip this, but let's make the giant one here. 62 over 10 divided by 3/4. I'm going to multiply that by 4/3 and 4/3. That's my super giant one. These all go to 1. So I have 62 times 4. 62 over 10 times 4 over 3. And that is, what is that? 248 over 30, or 124 over 15, or 8 and 4/15. I did. All right, for E, my terms, I'm going to circle these, that term, and then that term. But I want to do this first, parentheses first. So I have 4 times 6 plus negative 3 is positive 3, plus 3 groups of 4. Both of these are 12. 12 plus 12 is 24. Here, circle terms, that's negative 2 times 6 plus 3 times 5 minus 4 times 2. I want to do the 4 times 2 first. Well, let's see. First, negative 2 times 6 is negative 12 plus 3. Let's do the parentheses first. I want to do this multiplication before I do the subtraction. So 5 minus 8 equals negative 12 plus 3 times negative 3. Negative 12 plus negative 9 is 21 negatives. Voila. There you go. This was, especially question 7 is challenging, but this stuff is not going away. So let's make sure, do your test corrections, knock the retest out of the park, and enjoy your Thanksgiving break. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Hi everybody. Hi everybody. My adoring fans. Woo-hoo!